special city council meeting agenda to order for Monday, September 27th, 2021. Time is 6:07 p.m. Can we have a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Trodrick McCoy?
Madam?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, may I take the roll?
Yes, proceed.
Thank you. Mayor Ronnie Felder.
Here.
Chairperson Shirley Lanier.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Ms. Kashamba Miller-Anderson.
Present.
Councilperson Trodrick McCoy.
Here.
Councilperson Douglas Lawson.
Here.
Councilwoman Julia Botel.
Here.
City Manager Jonathan Evans.
Present.
Tawana Smith is present for the City Clerk. City Attorney Don Wynn.
Here.
You have a quorum, ma'am.
Very good. Additions, deletions, substitutions for this agenda. The clerk has brought to my knowledge that the resolution on the agenda this evening should be on the regular agenda. So I'm going to pull that item to be placed on the regular agenda. As there is no other items other than that, are there any disclosures by the council regarding this one item that is on the agenda this evening? Mayor, council. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second. Very good. As there are no consent agenda, we will move.
You want me to take the roll?
Take the what? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
That's all right. Councilperson Trodrick McCoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Julia Botel.
Yes.
Councilman Douglas Lawson.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Kashamba Miller-Anderson.
Yes.
Chairperson Lanier.
Yes.
That vote passes. Thank you.
Very good. So we are at the regular agenda item. Madam Clerk.
Do anyone else have any public comment cards?
These public comment
This is for
cards
item
are
one.
For this item, right?
Yes.
Exactly, because there still is a public.
Okay.
There still is a public comment section as well.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Okay, the acceptance for public comments for item 1 is now closed. Resolution 113-21, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, authorizing settlement of attorney's fees and costs in case number 918-CV-81285, Lady March Goldwire versus the City of Riviera Beach, authorizing Gallagher Bassett to make payment in the amount of $255,000 as full and final settlement of attorney's fees and costs and providing an effective date. Madam Chair, we do have public comments on this item.
Need a motion?
Motion to approve.
Very good. Is there a presentation on this?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Please.
This special meeting was called, as you all know, by the mayor. This is authorizing a settlement in the amount of $255,000 in the Lady March Goldwire versus City of Riviera Beach case. This settlement, we believe, is in the best interest of the city. The the funds from the settlement come from the city's insurance policy, and we recommend settlement.
Very good. Public comment, please.
Yes. Let me get the stopwatch. The first person is going to be Ms. Margaret Sheppard. You want to pass? You want to speak under regular public comments? Okay. Next will be Ms. Billy Brooks. You want to pass and speak under public comments? Okay, no problem. Ms. Dosha New. So you want to speak on item number 1? Which is the, okay, so you can go now.
Good evening. My name is Billy Brooks, 1325 West 28th Street. And yes, it's no secret that I am a candidate for the mayor position 2022. Originally, my comments had to do with why was it on the consent agenda, because, you know, with the consent item, you have to move it down to regular business. My other concern is why are we having it, first of all, in this location, which really limits the number of people that can come in and speak to the issue. The other is, you know, why are we kind of rushing through this? Why is it that the citizens don't have an opportunity to really learn what's going on? Now, I heard the presentation, but I still don't see where there's documentation on that it is to our, it works out better for the city, according to what it says here, if we go ahead on and settle for this. Mayor, you know, you're asking for this meeting. I just wonder why you didn't ask for a meeting when they found out that the fire chief, the police chief was wrong in what he did. You know, we really got to look at what's going on here in our city. And I'm just really just upset about this whole issue about this settlement. We're talking about $255,000. Sure enough, maybe the carrier will be paying for it. But as I understand that, there was only one charge that the courts really said that you all were liable for. Are we not in a position to legally find out if what they're saying that we're responsible for, are we really responsible for it? And who is responsible for this in our personnel? You know, so we really need to just kind of pause on this. This meeting really should be continued at a regular meeting where the people can have an opportunity to come and express themselves and see how they feel as taxpayers with what's recommended here. Mayor Feld, I just really feel like this was just a wrong issue. I don't know why you feel like you need to rush it through, but you know, we just have some suspicion about what's going on here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Ms. Dosha Newbold.
Good afternoon, everyone. I came here because, from my understanding, the attorney fees were originally $475,000, and it was reduced for number one. The fees were reduced, which would save the citizens money. That would be advantageous for us. As far as this meeting being held in this location, and the other people are not being able, us as taxpayers, not being able to voice our opinion or held in a normal forum, I agree to that. I wholeheartedly agree to that. And I think this is a travesty. We have to stop as the city, constantly battling back and forth and people trying to not want to pay or do whatever. Jonathan Evans got way more money from us than what Lady March is entitled to. And according to what I heard in court, the city had 30 days to contest the amount that we should pay her on August the 14th. Also, I heard in court, Ms. Botel said it wasn't her money. She don't care. And she's representing the city. So it isn't her money. It's the insurance company money. That's what we pay for, just in case something should come up. This is being stretched out. It's unnecessary. The attorneys has hacked their fee. Let's pay them. And irregardless to the fact that if it was one charge, it was actually 3 different cases, 3 different issues. We should go ahead and pay them. Go ahead and pay Ms. March, and hope to God they don't do the appeal on the other 2, because they have the right to, which is going to cost more money for us, and it's going to make the city look worse in front of the judge. that we had to come to all of this to give them their money that they're entitled to. They're entitled to more. They took her case without her being able to pay them. And you can attest to that, Jonathan. It is very expensive when you have to get legal help. And she went in federal court, not just state court. So all of those monies that they're entitled to, I think it's a travesty. And on behalf of the attorney that we, as the city or our city officials, decided to hire, I was appalled the way he acted down there. He took us 400 years back. Those people did not make it a black and white issue. This man went straight for the race card, knowing he had no black people on their jury. I was ashamed of him. I was totally ashamed. Had he not pulled the race card instead of the issues, and you had to be there to hear it, he would have never even gotten that.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to see if our timer is on. You have it? Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, apparently I'm not out of time. They didn't tell me. And I think that's rude of you. But at any rate, the lawyer...
That is your time. Thank you.
No, because you interrupted my time, sweet girl.
I asked for the time, ma'am. There's about 5 seconds left if you want to go ahead.
Well, let me get my 5 seconds back.
All right, very good. Go ahead, ma'am.
Or 7 or 8, whatever it was.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
And as a city taxpayer,
yes, ma'am,
they pay a lot of taxes. I was dumbfounded that was the attorney that you all hired. But for that brother, I pray that God forever bless him. He took us 400 years back when he played the race card against a black female.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next is going to be Miss Marvelous Washington.
Could you hold that up so we can see that?
Good evening, Council,
Good evening.
City Manager, City Attorney, Chairwoman. My comments is mostly about just a month ago, there were reports in the media about how the city won this case by only having to pay $60,000. Now all of a sudden it's $255,000, and that was one of the comments I made was, we're celebrating that we settled a case for $60,000, but wasn't talking about additional attorney fees that was going to be associated with that settlement. Personally, this entire fiasco, this entire special meeting, it's a personal vendetta. It really is. Because just a month ago, you approved over $400,000 worth of settlements on the agenda. I was at those meetings when you had a workers' comp settlement, you had another police officer settlement, you had an individual that was bit by the dog while being tased, etc. Only person had an issue with is Mr. McCoy, who said the individual deserved more money. If we pay Attorney Wynn to offer her expert opinion, what is wrong with her opinion that's being offered? Why we cannot use her, we're paying her to represent the city. We're paying her to be the city attorney. If she is recommending for us to settle a case and to pay it out, what's the problem? Why is this being dragged on? It has nothing to do with city business. It has nothing to do with giving residents an opportunity to speak on an issue. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Let Attorney Wynn, City Manager Evans, negotiate this and pay the settlement. Let's move the city forward. Y'all keep holding these old grudges for whatever reason. Y'all need to get rid of that stuff. Get rid of it. Because you say you want to move the city forward, but you're still doing this childish, juvenile things by holding us back, by still holding up this case with Lady March. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. And the fact of the matter is that there's rumors that Attorney Wynn was threatened with discipline because she wouldn't follow a directive by a council person. Is concerning to me. It's concerning. And that's whether true or not, but I had to put it on record to say so. I think it's a personal vendetta. I think that this is a waste of our time. And I think the city needs to pay out the settlement so we can move forward.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next is Ms. Doretta Polk.
Good evening. My name is Doretta Park, and personally, I don't feel this is a waste of time. I feel that if there's issues that we need to get to the bottom of, we need to get to the bottom of. We need to know all the facts. And I was just wondering, how does a legislative work with in settlements? Do you, when you say, okay, Ms. Wynn, do you say, oh, okay, this will be the settlement? Do you bring it back to the board? I don't know how that works. And let them talk it out? And I would like to know, how that addressed. Do every member have a say-so? And, oh, yeah, okay, this will be the settlement. I just don't know how that works. We got here because Miss Lady March was hired, and I don't mean any disrespect when I go there. But let me start off saying, when I sat for my state boards in 1975, I passed my state boards, and it was rough. If I didn't have my licensure, I could not do the job, the career that I had. Now, she most likely had a licensure, but I guess what it was that the licensure that she did have did not qualify for certain things that she was supposed to be able to do. Now, this is how we get here. When we don't hire people who don't have their credentials, the adequate credentials, this is how it plays out. I mean, no disrespect to her, but I think it was the friend hiring, and that's what we seem to do here in Riviera Beach. I think that you all need to come together, and if it is where the council should have been able to voice their opinion, and I don't know if they did, and they probably did voice their opinion, but this needs to come out in clarity what happened. And I thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's the end of public comments for item 1. So you want to speak on item number 1? Okay, that's fine. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I just want to rebuttal. I was at the trial for 2 days. I had to walk out. A lot of people, the judge had to do a recess because it touched a lot of people. I must rebuttal back what Mrs. Newbold said. He took us back to 400 years. He is the reason why you all paying the $60,000. He said corrupt 42 times. He said that all of you all was corrupt, and Lady March was part of the corruption. And to get back to her position, Lady took that test. That last test she took was on the international level. But let me back up. Before she came, it was a high school diploma, and as long as you've been working in that field for 10 years, and you had a provisional license. Now, what you all do need to clarify and be more self-explanatory as the board, let's set these personal bedevilers aside. I can hate somebody or I can love somebody. I can disagree and I can agree. But when you're right, and when you're wrong, admit when you're wrong. Botel has ran this city since she's been there. We said nothing about that third contract you all brought back for Jonathan Evans. And no disrespect to you, Mr. Evans. No disrespect whatsoever, but I must call a spade a spade. We said nothing about that pandemic pay that you have received for 2 months of a pay. 2 of your council people, they didn't vote against you coming back here. They just felt like you shouldn't have came back here with all of them perks. If a first responder going to be a first responder, let it be the garbage man. Let it be the police officer. Let it be the people that's going out there and put their life on the line. I went through COVID. I was at the nursing home, and I thought, I'm more vulnerable than anywhere. Working 2 or 3 jobs, did not even know. But I can contest to When you set a rule, set it for everybody. That's why I resigned. It's not the money you make, it's what you do with the money you make. And we are so stuck on personal vendettas in this city till you all want to move it forward, but you know why I can't go forward? And when I say this, I'm including myself. We go on social media. We badger one another. Can't nobody tell you about my story the way I can tell it to you. Mental illness, whatever it may be. But I'm here to say how he brought me through it. See, some of you all need to go back through the valley. And Lanier, you should be one of them because you just lost your job. So remember, you got to come down off that ladder. And you got to know how to treat people. When you learn how to treat people and it coming from the heart, you ain't going to have no problem with the devil. Period. I know. I done been there. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a bully. But when you set a rule, set it for everybody. When you set up for a crime, set it for everybody. You all got on Mr. Lawson. You all didn't get on when Mrs. Erica Davis violated Lady Marge at a meeting. You all in the police was there.
Thank you for your comments.
The police was there.
Ma'am, thank you for your comments, ma'am. Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Please, we are not going to have any crosstalk in the. Please, yes, do not have any. Please, ma'am, we do not have. We're not about to have the crosstalk. We'll have the officer here to remove people from the building if we cannot have any order in this audience.
I can leave. The one thing I can do, I can leave, and it's not because I'm scared. Trust me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Let us, any more public comment for the item? All right, very good. Let us move on in this agenda, please. We have an item that's before us in regards to a settlement for a plaintiff for the $60,000 that they were awarded, in addition to the $255,000 for attorney fees.
You're on public comment.
Madam Chair.
You haven't gotten to that yet.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Were you finished? Or were
No,
you still
but you go ahead.
So the item is on the agenda. I do not believe we should have this discussion publicly because we shouldn't have a closed executive session. So I would like to see, and I'm just putting this out here, you all can speak however you want to, but I do not believe we had a conversation further regarding these attorney's fees together, which is why I feel we need to have this closed executive session meeting. And so I'm thinking that we should call a special meeting today and then have it possibly on Wednesday when we're having our utility district budget meeting. I understand there is a deadline where we need to meet this, but I'm not prepared to vote on this tonight, and I do not think we need to be having public discussions on strategy regarding this because we have not had that regarding the attorney's fees. The only thing we talked about was the $60,000 the last time we met, and I don't think we should be having this discussion publicly.
I agree. I've been trying to get a closed executive session to discuss what they consider to be in a closed executive session, strategies and expenditures. We should not have a public meeting in regards to what the city's strategy is. There are still motions that are pending. There's reason or certainly issues of appeal. I think that this case is not settled, that the city needs to be able to, in its own best interest, and the insurance money is a $300,000 deductible, which means that that's our money. So we have to be clear that this money that taxpayers are coming out of their pocket for is something that is in the best interest of the city, period.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead, sir.
I want to address this first. Mr. Evans, who called the meeting here? Because I didn't call the meeting to be here. I called a special meeting. I don't determine what a meeting is held.
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
If I could have the deputy clerk go ahead and provide some additional perspective on the topic.
Yes, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. So when I was working out the logistics for the special meeting, at the time I was advised that the marina was not available. It wouldn't be available until Tuesday. So as you will notice, when we put out the notice, we were very clear on the location change. It was on our city's website. It was also placed at the marina that it would be there. It was placed on the electronic billboard out front of City Hall, and it was also placed on City Hall. I know that it's a very passionate topic for everyone. That's why I was very openly, freely with the public comment cards to allow everyone to speak. It is never the intent, my intent, to inconvenience the residents of this city.
Thank you. Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
And the reason I called the meeting, after meeting with legal, finding out that we had a $455,000 settlement, and we got it down to $255,000. If it goes back, the judge has every opportunity to make us pay more money. Now, we said we want to be responsible for taxpayers' dollars. We didn't feign loads and sued us for $1. And we would not give him $1, and it cost the city $900,000. Does that make sense? It don't make sense to me, because I've been for 52.
We cannot have in the back. We can't have any crosstalk.
You don't have to agree with me, but I'm always going to respect you too. But so listen. I've been for 52 years myself. That don't make sense to me. If we got a settlement down to $255,000, and we're willing to take the risk to say let's go back and keep negotiating, which is still going to cost more money. We're paying legal fees for our lawyer. We're going to pay her lawyer fees, and then the judge can just say, you know what? She won $60,000, and y'all don't want to give her that. Like we're taking the chance. I don't have personal vendettas, but if we're going to say we're going to be responsible for the taxpayers' dollars, listen, let all that go. Let's be responsible. We got a man that's trying to move our city forward in building and everything that we have to do in the city, and we're stuck right here. It does not make sense. We settle more cases. We're settling the case now. Nobody's talking. Let me say this. I know y'all think I'm quiet, but you can really poke a bear. All right? It's been meetings in this place before, and I never heard nobody complain about it's a meeting here. But it's a shame that we're acting like this. It's a shame that we're acting like this. It's a shame that we're beating each other up for nonsense. And everybody say we're moving the city forward. Are we? Because if you have a problem with your mayor, come sit down with me. My door's always been open. Let me share this. Because I called the meeting. Now, you can question what I do, how I do it, but you can't question the love for my city. Because many of you sitting in here, every time you called me, I was there. Every time you needed me, I opened my doors. And I can call names. But it's a shame that if you disagree with me, you'd rather put me out on social media than to come have a sit down with me. But every time you needed me, because I ain't just started this 2 years ago being the mayor, I've been doing this for 15, 16 years. And I don't look for accolades. Because I was taught by a man, you do it from the heart. And that's what we've been doing. And the stuff I do, the seniors while y'all fighting over this, I got seniors with roofs leaking right now that I'm trying to get their roofs fixed. That when I go home and go to sleep at night, I'm worried about them. If you're not a real public servant, stay out the game. Because this stuff costs me sleep when I have to worry about seniors that I got the necessity to live great, and their roofs are leaking while I'm home asleep. I ain't got time to fight this because I'm out there trying to help people. Dr. Botel, forgive me, because me, you had a run-in. But you know what? When you called me, I was out of town, and you needed my help, right? So I could put personal vendettas aside. When she called me,
Point of order,
this
please.
way.
Point of order, please. Yes, please. Listen.
No, just let me finish. Let me finish.
Mayor, but it's not on topic.
I know, but let me finish. When you called me, right? Because this is all mess, and we need to clear this up. But I want to make a point. I want to make a point. I just want to make a point.
All right.
When you called me, right? I could have said, you can't have my man.
This has to do with the.
But you know what I did? You know what I did? I said, give her everything she needs. Because you know, that's what a real leader do. They'll let go to bygones. And if people need help, I don't care who you are. Master Irvin, you called me plenty of times to have meetings.
Point of order, Mayor. I
Mr. Evans, when we brought you back,
point of order,
right,
Mayor.
we had everything at my place. Yeah, now you want to shut me up because I don't.
No, Mayor, we're not, no, sir, not by any means that we're trying to shut you up. By no means, sir. We have an item that is on the agenda, and
So
we're
let me
trying
go.
to
So let me go back to the item. Let me go back to the item. I did my comment. Let me go back to the item. Let me go back to the item.
All right.
So the reason this meeting was called by me is to say let's settle this, so we don't have to have all this Facebook going back and forth. So this man can get back doing what he needs to do to move the city forward, and we can move forward. That's why this meeting is called.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I have to say, after speaking with our attorney a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was, I was completely satisfied that I was going to vote for this settlement without question. It seemed like a reasonable thing to do. And since that time, I have had so many calls and visits from people in the community asking me not to and asking me certain questions. And I have some questions that I would like to have answered tonight that don't have anything to do with the city's strategy with regard to this settlement. But I think they're really important to get information out that's true. For example, I really would like to hear from Mr. Stevens as to whether or not he called us corrupt. I think, in my understanding of his remarks, he might have been referring to previous councils, but I'd like to hear that from him. And it doesn't have anything to do with our strategy, just something to get the truth out. I'd also like to see a copy of the transcript of the... Wait, let me... Wait.
Hold on a second, Mr. Stevens.
Wait,
Hold on a second.
I just have a couple more questions that really don't impinge on our ability to negotiate this. They're really just simply things that I need to know in order to answer the many people who've come to me with questions. Do we or do we not have access to the transcript of the trial? I think you told me that we paid $6,000 for it, and if we've got it, then could we see it? It would be really important for me because certain statements were made that originally led me to believe that we really didn't have a case. We just shouldn't pursue this, just pay it. But now I'm hearing things that maybe persuade me that that's not the case. So if I see the transcript for myself, I'll know what the truth is. I'll know exactly what people said. That's all I want to do. I want to know the truth. The other thing is, we had a closed session about this, and I have to tell you, I'm getting a little older there. I might not remember exactly everything that went on in that closed session. I'd really like to see the transcript of that closed session because I think some things were said, some requests were made, and I don't remember, to tell you the truth, exactly what was said. I'd love to see the transcript of that closed session. And I think that's the only thing I would like to come away from this evening, just a promise that we can get the transcript of the trial, a promise that we can get the transcript from the closed session. And I think if my colleagues would indulge me, a statement from Mr. Stevens about what remarks he might have made about us being corrupt in that trial. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. Hold on one second. I just want to say that there was a suggestion made by my colleague in regards to having this discussion in a closed session. And the reason why is this. The case is not settled. The case can be fought on appeals on both sides. There has been a settlement that has been agreed to by the attorneys and the insurance company, and the residents didn't elect the attorneys and the insurance company to make a deal. We have the right to be reasonably informed about what is happening with taxpayers' money. But what I want to say is that given the opportunity to view this and to be fair, I am the chair of this council and I don't even know who Lady March is. I think I met her once before I became elected. So there is no personal vendetta on my part because I don't know who this person is. All I know are the facts of this case. And looking at the facts of this case, there were issues and there were things that were brought up in special executive session that were not followed through on. So we as a council have the right, there's an ethical obligation for the lawyers and the insurance company to inform us of any settlements, of anything that is done for the city, because we are the ones who are elected. So given that, I want to be able, as my colleague has suggested, to move forward with an executive session and to be able to get the information that we need to be able to make an informed decision. And either way it goes, we're going to do it in the best interest of the city, regardless of what side it falls on. So with that being said, I want to entertain a motion to first call for a closed executive session.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I got a couple questions.
Go ahead, sir.
So, Ms. Nguyen, is there a difference between the city's carrier and the excess carrier, or are they both one and the same?
There are two carriers.
Okay, who are they?
Gallagher Bassett is our claim representative, and I'm trying to remember the name of the excess carrier, Mr. Stevens, but I'm getting it confused with the case that you're currently in trial on with us. I can't remember, is it Britt?
So, I'll take it. I'll take it from there. So, provided that it's two of them. So, in this memo, you have counsel for the city, representatives from the city's insurance carrier and excess carrier, and risk management concur that the settlement of the plaintiff's attorney fees and costs in the amount of $255,000 is in the city's best interest. So, counsel meaning Mr. Stevens?
Correct.
Okay, and that amount, I think I heard the mayor say $455,000.
No, it started out as they documented that or alleged that their attorney fees are $455,000. Mr. Stevens was able to negotiate that down to $255,000. That amount was accepted by the insurance company, but contingent, as all settlements are over the manager's authority, contingent upon city council approval, which is why those settlements always come to you on an agenda.
Okay. So I think I heard the chair mention that it was $60,000. So that's not a part of the settlement. That's been ordered.
Correct. The $60,000. What did you say? Has it been voided?
Ordered.
Ordered. That was a jury verdict.
Okay. So, so I guess the itemized list of what those attorney fees and costs were, the attorney would have gotten them, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so we have two carriers, Mr. Stevens and risk management. That be Mr. Shields?
Correct.
Okay. And was there any involvement or input on you or your office?
Along with Mr. Stevens, yes.
Okay, so.
I agree that the settlement of the attorney's fees is in the best interest of the city.
Okay, so in the alternative that we don't accept the settlement, can you give us a scenario of what potentially would happen if we don't accept it?
Right. If the council votes not to accept the settlement, we would go back into court, Mr. Stevens would. We would have a hearing where the judge would basically decide what the attorney's fees should be. In doing that, we would generally hire an expert to testify regarding attorney's fees, and so would the plaintiff's side. And then the judge would make the ultimate decision. A judgment would be rendered, and we would have to pay that judgment if there was a dollar amount associated with that.
Okay, and the joint stipulation that was done by Mr. Stevens and the plaintiff?
The plaintiff's attorney, correct.
Okay, so it's quite a bit. So at least two plaintiff's attorneys, two defense attorneys, two insurance carriers, and risk management. And I just wanted to make sure, because the memo says it, but it doesn't describe it. And I don't have a problem with going into a closed session because, you know, if members want to understand, I guess, something that couldn't have been explained in a one-on-one with the attorney or want to hear feedback from the other members, I'm okay with that. I just don't want to find ourselves missing a deadline or ending up in much worse condition than had we accepted this. Now, to that point, there was a suggestion about the timelines. Have we exhausted any kind of timelines that would have been, I guess, opportune for the city to, you know, contest this or oppose this or appeal this?
The time to appeal the jury verdict has passed.
Okay.
The $60,000 verdict has passed.
And just as a normal course in these claims, I guess, be it state and federal, when the court finds in favor of a plaintiff or defendant, they're entitled to attorney fees?
Yes.
Is there a matrix as to whether or not they get the full amount, whether they get since this was, I guess, one out of 4 claims that went to trial?
Correct.
So do they get 25% of what
Mr. Stevens can address that when he comes up to speak to you.
Okay, that's all I have. But I want to ask that. That's one of the questions I
And
have.
the insurance company, Mr. McCoy, is Ambridge, the Ambridge Group.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead, sir.
just one question. What is our current cost for retention of Mr. Stevens to date?
Oh, I don't have that number in front of me. At one point I had it. I can't tell you what it was.
I think-
Mr. Stevens may know, but he may not know.
Okay,
I
I think
did request it because it was asked of me today. I requested it from the insurance company and have not received it.
Okay,
Because they're
so-
the ones that actually pay those bills.
So to that point, you said the insurance company pays the bills.
Correct.
Okay, and to that point, that'd be some vital information for us to know moving forward, because with retention of Mr. Stevens and continuing with the process of taking this back to court, that's going to be additional costs that we're going to incur. So in addition to the actual settlement, in addition that we have to pay because we've already missed the 30-day deadline, we'd have to pay the attorney costs for Mr. Stevens continuing, in addition to whatever the judge determines.
That's correct.
So I think we do need that information. If Mr. Stevens, when he does make his comments, could give us actually even a ballpark, because that's something that we definitely need to take into consideration and move forward with.
I do know, Mr. Lawson, that we have satisfied the deductible in this case, and I believe that deductible is $300,000.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you, sir. I think that these conversations, these challenges or information that we need to have is best served for a closed executive session. Now, because we have not gotten to the point where this is a done deal, we have to have something where the information or the questions. I mean, the mayor said he spoke with the attorney. I've spoke with the attorney, but I didn't know that this was being settled. I had no idea until I looked up on my Pacer account that not only has this, been put in writing, that there are other motions that are pending as well. So there's a lot of issues that are here that need to be addressed, for sure. But this is not the forum for them, and we need to be able to have the city's strategy, and when we talk about money, something that the council themselves can have a discussion about.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I agree that we want to have anything that pertains to any potential negotiations over this matter should be in closed session. But I really think that we need to hear from Mr. Stevens with regard to the accusations made that he, A, went back 400 years, and B, called this council corrupt. I think that's really important information to get out to the public. Did that happen? And if so, why? So if you would indulge me to have that.
Go ahead, Mr. Stevens.
Madam Chair, while Mr. Stevens approaches, I just want to say that we do have ample time to have a closed executive session. We can have one on Wednesday. I'm prepared to announce that tonight. But also as it relates to the transcripts, and I believe I emailed you back, Dr. Botel, the closed executive, the transcript of the closed executive session, that is not usually released until after the conclusion of the litigation. However, that is the council's prerogative to release it. But remember, when you release it, everyone else can get it too, the public, the media, and but if you want to do that, you can make a motion to that effect, and I will furnish it to you tomorrow.
No, thank you. In that case, it's probably best that it not be released.
I thought that...
I just thought that we could have it because we're council, and
No,
you
ma'am,
mean
no.
if
Right,
it's...
and it's my understanding that the court reporter must transcribe and file with the city clerk for non-public use.
Correct, which means, and I believe I sent you all a copy, two of you at least, a copy of the opinion. There's an Attorney General opinion that states that it is not public until the conclusion of the litigation unless the council wants to waive it. So you can make a motion here in this public meeting to waive it, and I can give it to you. But when I give it to you, it makes it public for everyone.
Very good.
One more thing, please, as it relates to the trial transcript. I sent you the law on that. If you look in Pacer, which I believe some of you have, the court has deemed that the record is not public until November 30th of this year, and there's a public records requirement that it not be made public because was an
It's not being
allegation.
made public. It's given to the council members who are the client. We are the client. If the attorneys have it, why does not the client have it? It doesn't make any sense to me, given the fact that this is how we make this decision.
The law is clear, Ms. Lanier, that you cannot have it until November 30th, 2021.
And I understand
because
that
it is
wholly.
and there's a reason for it, but there was a claim of gender discrimination, and that is the reason.
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
So is it possible to provide us with excerpts from the transcript and not make the entire thing? Or
No,
it's
ma'am.
one, or you can't just even, okay. Because I would like to see the testimony from Danny Jones, from Karen Hoskins, and from Eureka Irvin. Those seem to me to be pivotal in terms of the jury's decision as to whether or not there was actual cause to award the $60,000. And frankly, it's quite a quandary, because absent my being able to see that, how can I make a decision as to whether or not I think the jury's verdict was fair, or whether or not we should, although is it 28 days or 30 days that you have to go back to the judge and request that how much time did we?
It would have been 30 days.
30 days, okay. So that time has elapsed. We can no longer go back. But given that Ms. Goldwire has filed for a retrial, and what were the two things? She filed for a retrial and for front pay.
Front pay.
Given that she's opened that Pandora's box, if you will, do we then have the opportunity to challenge the verdict?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Stevens, I'll let you talk. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I just want to say this. First of all, this case was not a simple case, and that's why we're going through all of this stuff. And despite what everybody's getting up and talking about God and church and Jesus and all this other stuff,
Talking to the mic, Mr. Stevens.
they talk about all this other stuff, but the heart has to be right. And when I went to court, y'all didn't hire just a lawyer. I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor for over 20 years. I've been a preacher for over 20 years. And what I went to court with was the truth. And I've been doing work for the city for a long time. And I'm not going to change my values for anybody or anything. The jury knew that I told the truth. That's what made some of the folks mad, because they don't want the truth to come out. The way you win in court is not by lying, not by tricking somebody, but by telling the truth. And so the truth is, she's talking about black and white. My skin is black, right? In Adam, I'm a black man, right? But in Christ, I'm a spirit. And so when people start talking about race and they start talking about other stuff, that's not what I did. That's not. What I said to that jury was, race doesn't matter. You hire the most qualified person. You don't hire your friend. You don't hire somebody who doesn't have the qualifications. You hire the best person. And when you hire the best person, the people you're trying to help, those are the people you end up helping. So I don't want to hear that stuff. You can call me whatever you want. But the truth is I went to the court. I didn't care if y'all never do business with me again. I went to the court and I told the jury the truth. And they know I told the truth. And they found the truth. And the only thing they came back with on the city was also, in my opinion, after going back through it and looking at it, had some truth to it. So y'all can argue all you want. But the truth is the truth. Nobody can make it what they want it to be. It is what it is. Okay? So, yes, I went to court. Her lawyer got up and said that Lady March was trying to do the best she could in a corrupt environment. And I got up and said, yes, the environment is corrupt, and you're a part of it. I absolutely said that. Now tell me where I'm lying. Okay? Now, you all want to take everything personal and say, I'm talking about you. Never said that. Never. Been doing work for the city for 30 years, and I'm telling you now, people make decisions for the wrong reasons. And I went to court, and I brought out the truth. And they didn't know the truth was coming. And they didn't know that I was prepared to go against the people that they had lined up to lie. I'm just telling you, it is the truth. It's the truth. So they can call me whatever they want. They can say whatever they want to say. But I tell you what, I will keep my faith. I will keep who I am. It's not about money. It's not about anything. But people run up and they jump up and talk about Jesus. If he walked in the room, they wouldn't know him. And I'm just telling you that. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. The truth was told. Okay? I've done business, and I've always tried to do the right thing for the city. And I'm just telling you, I'm not going to change who I am. Don't want to do business with me. You can't embarrass me because I have a good track record as a lawyer, but more importantly, as a person. As a person. Okay? I'm just, it's
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
and I'm
much
sick
for your
of it.
comments.
I'm sick
Thank
of
you
it.
for your comments, sir. Thank you for your comments.
Okay, so Madam Chair?
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Ma'am, we're not going to have any.
Madam Chair.
I said
Go ahead, sir.
that there is corruption that has been going on in the city of Riviera Beach. And tell me, I said that, and I did not say anybody's name. I said that, and I was talking about the process that hired Lady March. Now, y'all can say whatever you want, but she did not have a college degree, and she got hired. And she put on her application that she did have one. So my point is, you can say what you want, but there was people who were supposed to do this and check that, who didn't check this and didn't check that. At the time, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole case was about what happened while she was there.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
But not trying to offend.
That clarifies.
That's the clarification. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, thank you so much.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. I want to make a motion that we postpone this item until after we have had our closed executive session. I would like to see the announcement tonight for a closed executive session for Wednesday, I guess maybe 5:30. And we can pick up this resolution after we've had that discussion on Wednesday.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion?
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Will we add that discussion to the before utility district, or are we going to have the settlement on Wednesday night as well? Because then that night will encompass our closed executive, UD, and then this settlement.
No, that would mean there would be a closed executive session, a UD meeting, and a special meeting. It was set for October the 6th. It depends on at the closed
conversation at the closed executive.
Right, the closed executive session is a session that we discuss strategy and expenditure, so we can make that decision at that time.
So, Madam Chair, are we looking to, I guess my follow-up is, are we looking to put this item and host a special council meeting on Wednesday to settle this?
Well, Madam Chair, I have, let me I have a question follow-up what Mr. Lawson is saying, though. Is there a deadline that we have to make? What's the deadline date we have to make this decision?
We told the court October 6th.
Okay.
And so we originally had it scheduled, we were prepared to put it on the agenda for then, but now we have the special meeting tonight. Now what you could do, once I announce the closed session, you could make a motion to postpone this to a time certain on Wednesday, right after the closed executive session when you reopen, or you could leave it on the 6th.
We could leave to have this item right here on the 6th.
You could either have it on the 6th, or you could have it Wednesday and postpone it to a time certain.
My only concern about doing it the very same night is there may be things we need to get cleared up.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to then turn around and change it again.
And on the 6th, it will be on the regular agenda.
Yes, not consent.
Right. So, Madam Chair, well, I guess you need the motion to postpone.
Yes, we have a motion on the floor.
Did you call the roll for it?
We have a motion on the floor. Let's get this motion out the floor first.
Well, it includes the postpone, and to make the announcement.
Yeah, I'm gonna make.
Right, we'll have a motion, we have a motion and a second to postpone this, item.
Okay.
Hold on. So should I, since you just talked about the 6th, should I say postpone it to, postpone this resolution to October 6th, and then also do the closed executive session? I'll make the
29th.
announcement tonight for the closed executive session on Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to restate that motion?
I make a motion to postpone this item number 1 resolution to October 6th, asking for the attorney to make an announcement tonight for a closed executive session for this item on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's it.
Then I second stance.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion on this item? Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Lawson,
Yes.
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Councilperson McCoy,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Lanier.
Yes,
That vote passes.
very good.
Madam
So we
Chair,
will, yes, go ahead,
May I make the announcement?
go ahead.
Okay. Pursuant to Florida Statute 286.0118D, public meetings and records, and in a desire to obtain advice concerning litigation, I am requesting a time that the City Council is available for a closed executive session in the matter of Lady March Goldwire versus City of Riviera Beach, case number 9-18-CV-81285. I'm seeking a closed door session with council to discuss settlement of attorney's fees and costs. If you are available, I would like to hold that session on the 29th day of September at 5:30 p.m. at the Marina Event Center, 190 East 13th Street, Riviera Beach, Florida, 33404. Those persons in attendance will be City Attorney Dawn Nguyen and or Lina Busby, Senior Assistant City Attorney, Special Counsel Don Stevens, Esquire of Olds and Stevens, Mayor Felder, members of the City Council, and City Manager Jonathan Evans. Again, the subject matter of the closed executive session shall be restricted to settlement of attorney's fees.
Thank you.
Very good.
Madam Chair, I know I'm going to go bug you about this till I get the answer I want. If I, in a one-on-one session with you, can you share any of the transcript? Could you share any of the transcript? No, still becomes public.
Yeah, I need
no
to-
matter how I
you need to-
approach it. Okay,
I
so
still want to have a,
all right.
I still need to have that.
Same thing with the closed session transcript.
But only if you waive the exemption will it be made available. That's what the law states, and I believe on the transcript provision that you all are asking about, I sent you the statutory, at least the two who asked, two councilmen. I'll send it to everyone. Yes.
I appreciate your getting right back. It's almost too much to read,
I know.
but I appreciate your getting right back to me on that.
You're welcome.
All right, excellent. So we are set for a closed executive session. Is there any public comments from the?
Yes, you do have regular public comment.
Okay, let's do that. Please be reminded, the City Council has adopted rules of decorum, public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the front desk. In an effort to preserve order, if any of the rules are not adhered to, the council chair may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting, and or the building if necessary. Please govern yourselves accordingly. Public comment shall begin at 7:30 p.m. unless there is no further business of the City Council, which in any event it shall begin sooner. In addition, if an item is being considered at 7:30, the comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Any person who would like to speak during public comment, please fill out a public comment card located at the front desk and give it to the staff before the public comment section is announced. Madam Clerk.
Yes, the first one is going to be Ms. Celicia Hayes, and I will tell you when you have 30 seconds left.
Ms. Hayes? Yes.
No.
Next question. I don't know if that person.
Miss Mary Bram?
Ms. Bram.
Let me first state for the record here. I put a card under number 1 for that settlement. I did put a card in here. That was why the movement was going on, because I did want to speak under number 1. Now you're in public comment.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to ask some deviation here, because it was not my fault. I did put a card in there on the number 1.
Okay, go ahead. We'll hear you. We'll hear you now, Ms. Brown.
A lie would travel all over the world, and it would still come back as a lie. Thank you, Attorney Stevens, because from what I heard and from what I told from valuable, see, I don't get this stuff off the top of my head. People's love's a lie. And Facebook will forever be Facebook. What is worse is how we do business. It's not what we do, but how we do what we do. Attorney Wynn, I respect you, but the time lapsed. You are at fault for why this appeal here. Whatever decision here was made, it should have been made by the board, because we had 30 days. You was wrong. When I said last week about some of the staff here, some of them need to go. For the same very reason here, you all make us look bad, because we are not bad. It's you all. It's you all that's doing this to this city here. McCoy had the same questions that I had about the attorney, the council, and the city. Who is the city here? Isn't this board here supposed to be the city, Attorney Wynn? Come on now. Let's get it right here now. You may want this to happen, and so Ms. Brown wants this to happen where it should happen at. But in order for us to look like we are doing our business here, you have to do your job. This should not have lasted. It should not have lasted. And if it was in last, this board here should have been involved. And it should have came back for the general public. I'm upset because you got us in this little hellhole here. And it's hot here. No offense to it, but we had a marina there. We had a marina over there.
You have 30 seconds left.
It's not what we do, but it's how we do things, the way that we do. Now, am I going to get my public comment in here? Because this was on item number 1. Am I going to speak on
Yes,
my
ma'am. Yes,
public comment?
I'll give you the opportunity
Thank
to
you.
speak on public comment. Yes, ma'am.
And I'm tired of hearing this lie about the pandemic here too. Attorney Wynn got it. She makes over $187,000 a year, plus benefit. Deidre Jacob, the fire chief, some of his assistants, public work, and a lot more other them. Steve Goldman got it. If it had not been for these crews here stepping out to navigate us in this city here, during the most historical, horrific time that any city, any country, any nation have faced, I couldn't pay them enough. I couldn't pay them enough. They left their families. They sacrificed to come into our city here to keep us aboard, to make sure that we had masks, we had food, we had vaccines. And for you people who don't know, Mr. Evans and some of the staff went over there in Palm Beach. They was the first one to get the vaccine. But our city rose to that occasion now, to go over there to see how they were set up, to bring it back here in our city and start vaccinating us. I'm tired. Everybody on this board here, you stand a chance of getting out of here, because I'm tired of this mess. And Ms. Bram have worked with this community, and we are tired. Mr. Evans, he is the navigator. Wynn, Felicia Scott, Gwen Oates, Chief Goldman, Deidre Jacob. I can go on and on and on with the pandemic pay list, Mr. McCoy. Where were you at? We didn't see you when times was bad and hard here. Mr. Evans conducted every weekly meeting a month for us, and we called in. It wasn't a question that wasn't answered from these people here. Come on, you boy here. Come on now. You all didn't do it. We set the standards for other cities all around us. They started doing what we were doing because they were not doing it. No, we can't pay you all enough for the sacrifices, because some of you all got sick coming in this city here to serve us. Yes, you did. But you kept us moving. You kept us moving. And pandemic pay, if it's a hurricane, this was worse than hurricanes. Millions and millions and millions of people are still dying today. And we see her still sitting on our two-sits here, complaining and grumbling and griping. Let's do it right. I have nothing against anyone. But when you do things like this, you out of order. You out of order here. Not just only me. I was all out in the community. And that's what the community has said. Mr. Brown, we're going to do this drive because we're going to get your house.
You have 30 seconds
now,
left.
You all know that once Ms. Graham said, Ms. Graham do exactly what she said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ms. Doretta Park.
My name is Lloyd Brown. I just want to know, are the First Amendment rights, do they apply in Riviera Beach? Or, do they apply here? Freedom of speech? Because they were having a gathering, and I think you can go to a gathering and you can speak your mind because the First Amendment right gives you that right. But our mayor, see how upset he got right then? He was the same way when I was over there speaking because I said, oh, y'all only show up on election time. He got so pissed off, he came across the street telling me, oh, you can come, same thing he said. You can come to my office. No, you come to us. We put you there, now you come to us. It's not like I got to go and feed my dogs. I go to them because, see, they don't have the kind of mentality I got. They don't come to me and say, Lord, it's time to eat. I go feed them because I'm responsible for them like you responsible for us. And then this Chico, I don't know his name, he got a lot of gold in his mouth. I didn't even get a chance to say what I wanted to say and keep saying it. Some guy followed the mayor up there, he wanted to fight me. And the man standing there, he didn't say, well, this man has the right to speak because that's his First Amendment right. But anyway, I called the ACLU, so I ain't worried about that. I called them up and I told them what happened. And if what I was saying didn't make sense, the lady probably wouldn't have listened to me. She was agreeing with what I said. And you're lucky that my nephew who just got out of prison wasn't standing there because he probably would have went back at that time. Because, see, I don't fight. I got a brain. I build stands for engineers at Pratt and stuff like that. I was in the military, but I wasn't shooting guns or nothing. I was like a brain there, working on a jet engine, repairing stuff. I wasn't a fighter. And I'm 67 years old, and this little dude walked up there with you. What am I fighting for? And you standing there and you say, well, Mr. Brown does have the right on his First Amendment. That's because you don't know shit.
Ms. Doretta Park, you want to go now?
Good evening. My name is Doretta Park, and I just want to make a statement concerning the last meeting which I was in, where you, Mr. Lawson, interrupted me. I had 5 or 6 seconds on the clock, and you told me I don't care nothing about your time. I don't care. And also you said, what's your agenda? I have no agenda. I did nothing to you to provoke you to talk to me that way. Nothing. I was just advocating for the young lady because in my career I have seen a lot of this. And when we have to call security because they're tormenting their loved one, when security get in there, they bow down like cowards and say, I didn't do anything. And the young ladies never speak up. So our hands are folded, but we keep an eye on the situation. Mr. Lloyd Brown last week stated to you that how you beat up your women and how you don't have take the initiative to run the board because you're too busy out there doing whatever you're doing to her. Now, I tell you, you owe me an apology. But will I get one from you? Nope, most likely. But when a man come to you and say, what they feel about you, you bow down just like those cowards I dealt with in my career. But yet you're going to try to insult me? But you insulted yourself, young man. You insulted yourself. Because the state attorney, Dave Arnoldberg, said this arrest was valid. You did commit domestic battery on that young lady. Anyone with common sense who see this know that young lady was battered. You're wrong. You do all these mental forms that you do. Get her some help. She said in you all's interview, she said you were trying to stop her because she had a little bit too much to drink. Yes, and Mr. Lozeman, nobody, Mothers Against Drugs, they don't want to
You
see
have
that.
30 seconds left.
But what they want to see is you could have done things so much differently. Just take the key out. She's not going to go anywhere. But to drag her out like that, like a rag doll, to put her and in the elevator, push her against the wall, and pick her up and just drop her, that's wrong. And a young lady, like I said, think before you say I do. You deal with mental form, get her some help if she needs it. And while you're getting her some help, get you some counseling also.
Thank you so much, Ms. Paul.
Thank you.
Next is Ms. Margaret Sheppard.
Margaret Sheppard, Riviera Beach. I didn't speak on the first item because I thought the mayor, since he called the meeting, he was going to start with his editorial of why you all were meeting. As I listened to it, I did find that Protein Chair, she really had a good idea on how this should be handled. A closed executive meeting. You have put the city of Riviera Beach on notice that this was going on, and you all had not completed on how you feel before you said how we feel. You want to say something terrible about this lawyer, but every lawyer I got, let me tell you, if he didn't do what I said do, I would fire him. So he was working for us. I don't know the logistics. When I came back from my illness, Lady March was gone. So I don't know what happened. But it just saying something about her. I think she is really a courageous young lady. I think she's beautiful, and I think she's smart. How she got here, I tell you, unthinkable. But she was here. The trial is going on now. But I think right now you're putting her name out there. She's a mother. She's somebody's wife. The way this is handled just theoretically makes me ill. The way the city of Riviera Beach operate, it is horrible. You have a city manager here, and you all said, and you said you were with Mr. Evans. But every time Mr. Evans come out to do something, he's slam-based. Like he doesn't have common sense. If you say you're going to ride on his coattail, ride on his coattail. But you, Mr. Mayor, when you said social media, I don't know how to do it. When somebody called me and said, I'm fumbling everywhere. And when you said, I am with Mr. Glenn Spiritus, I went, oh my God, no. No, I kept saying no. And because I don't know you, but my group, we supported you. But you said, then that's a lie somewhere. If I don't support you, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not supporting you.
You have 30 seconds.
And people know me. I support no one unless they call and ask. But right now, it's sickening to blackball this man. When you brought him, I don't know what his pay is. I really don't care because it was consummated by this board of what he gets. And I think nothing else, you should be respectful to the chair, the vice chair, to go and talk to them. And you didn't. You overstepped your bound. We shouldn't be here. It's insulting, and I feel bad, and I feel sick for how you're dragging this lady through the mud.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Sheppard.
Miss Billy Brooks? You good? Did Miss Cindy March leave?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. William Wild?
Good evening, Board. My name is William Wiley, Planning and Zoning Board, also candidate for District 5. I agree wholeheartedly with Ms. Sheppard and Ms. Bram, what they said about what we need to do in our city and who's responsible. My one and only desire is to move this city and move it forward. But it can only be done and move forward when we put the right people in place to be able to do the right things. And the right things have to be done at all times. One thing my mom always taught me at the time was you always do the right thing. There is no gray area in between. And that's one thing that I don't like about politics, is that it seems to be a red area, a black area, and then it's a gray in between. And I don't deal with gray. That's what I don't deal with. And we have to be able to do the right things no matter who's involved, whether it's our friend, our buddy, our cousin, or whatever. We have to do the right things for our city, not for our individuals or not for one individual person. And we have to do that. And the things I have, the issues that I have is, of course, we had the meeting here, which someone already addressed. We had the meeting here in this place, which was too small because we needed more people here. This should have been addressed by the board automatically from the beginning, rather than coming here first and putting our business out on Front Street rather than having this handled initially. The $60,000 that they agreed upon, right, to me, for myself, money, I work hard for my money. Anybody knows me, I got 2 or 3 jobs. And to pay $60,000 for something that we was not found guilty for, to me, was too much money. So there is no right and wrong way in saying we're going to save money by doing something. You're not saving money by spending money that you have no reason to spend. That's the problem. You don't have any right to spend the money. It's the city's money. It is our money at one point because we still have to pay for the deductible. But guess what? At the same time, that money is not deserved. Now to come back and say because we missed the deadline, I don't know how we missed the deadline, but we missed the deadline, now we got to pay $255,000 to someone to say that's the right thing to do. That is not the right thing to do. When is this city going to start fighting back for the right reasons? Right? You fight back for the right reasons. That's the whole point. Even if you lose, you go down fighting. That's what the city hasn't done. Everyone comes here to take from us, and guess what? We have people who want to get in office, who have gotten in office, and that's all they do is take for us. We don't need them bringing their friends and their buddies inside of our city to go and just get lawsuits and just run out and agree with all this nonsense. At some point in time, we got to get the right people in office to start doing the right things and start building this city up. Every city around us,
you have 30 seconds.
Is building up, except us, because we keep electing people to come into our office to do the wrong things, and then guess what? As soon as they get out of here, as soon as they leave, they're leaving Riviera Beach. Look at our previous council members. There's a lot of them that have done it. All right? We need people here in our city to be able to do so, and that's why I'm running for Council 5. Thank you.
Next is Ms. J.B. Dixon.
I came in late, so I didn't understand what it was the mayor was talking about, but obviously it was something contentious. What I wanted to know is why, after the jury verdict was released, why the city did not ask its attorney to issue a statement as to what he had actually said. Because it was all over social media that the attorney had said the city is, meaning presently, corrupt. And when he got up here, we didn't ask him about Jesus and being a pastor and all this other stuff that he carried on about. He didn't answer the question. Madam Chair, I wish you had made a point of order and said, please answer the question. We didn't say whether or not you're a truthful person, a good person, whatever. You know, we don't need to be preached to up here. Clearly, I still didn't understand what he said until I asked him to clarify. What I think I heard, please tell me if I'm wrong, is that he was saying that when the hiring occurred, the city, there was corruption in the city. The corruption was corrupt. He was not saying that you all are corrupt. Am I correct? Is that what he said? Good, because now you need to put a statement. He needs to put a statement out saying, I have been misquoted. Here's the context and what I said. I'm sure he has a transcript. So, you know, I think the city's PR, I don't know who's handling it, but my God, you don't let this stuff go on for a month of people saying that your own attorney calls you corrupt and you know it isn't true, and you just let it sit out there. Somebody needs to be watching this kind of a thing. You know, we had a horrible reputation as being the city in turmoil, and that is beginning to turn around slowly. Lots of good things are happening, and you have a duty to all of the people who want that to happen to protect the city's reputation. And for God's sake, please be a little more aggressive with the media and with the public in terms of when something is wrong, when someone is lying about you, say so. Defend your city. Thank you.
Last, we have Ms. Erica Davis.
Erica Davis, Riviera Beach. 15-year residents of Riviera Beach. And let me say for the record, number one, I'm sick and tired of Cindy March coming in here mentioning my name about her niece. I did not hit her niece. I waved a piece of paper. It did not hit her. I am still in court about this, and I'm going to get it past me in a little while. Now, back to this business at hand. The city is still corrupt. We still have a leftover residue in this city that's corrupt in this city. And I'm sick and tired of coming up here speaking. I haven't been in here in a while because I feel like I don't need to come in here and babysit you guys. That's not my job. My job is to elect the perfect person to come in here and do their jobs. But apparently, we keep making that mistake over and over and over again. We keep hiring cliques that do not care about what's going on in our city. They don't care about our residents. They care about themselves and having their little cliques to come in here, work together, and steal our money. Now, as far as this court thing, the $60,000, give it to her. But I don't see how in the hell we have to pay almost $300,000 to her attorneys to defend her when she was wrong from the beginning. That does not make any sense to me. And why did we wait till the deadline to take this thing and whatever you did, do an agreement or whatever with the courts or her attorneys? Why did that happen? Just like with you, Mr. Lawson, with your situation. I'm not going to bring it up because I don't care about your situation. I care about the cop that was fired temporarily. But with you, who hired your ex-husband to defend him, and he's an injury attorney and not a criminal attorney? See, this is the stuff that pisses me off. I'm sick of all of this corruption in here. Every time we hire somebody, they got to come in here and stick up our asses. And I'm sick of it. Either you're going to come here and work for us, or you don't come here at all. Period. We're sick and tired of this. We want to move our city forward. And we're sick of you messing with our city manager as well. You're not going to touch him because anybody's going to go before he goes. And I'm going to say that on the record. Now, we're going to have to clean this mess up. I'm sick and tired of the same old stuff over and over
you have 30
and over
seconds.
again. This is not a daycare. This is a governmental business. And we need to build some things to make some money. We are broke. So we need to get past this. Fire anybody, Mr. Evans, you too. Anybody that's going to stand in our way to keep our city from moving forward. Because we know what we need to do in March. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Ms. Washington, your card was indicated for the regular agenda, and that's when I called you on there. I don't have one for public comments. But your card is regular agenda.
Go ahead, Ms. Washington. Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. First, I'd like to thank the mayor, Councilperson Lawson, Mr. Councilperson McCord for coming out on Saturday for the event that we held at Cunningham Park, Clean Up S Avenue. I did want to make a comment in regards to Mr. Lord's statement. What he's talking about occurred to him was furthest from the truth. Mr. Lord got out of his car yelling at kids and the volunteers that came into our city to help clean up the city, saying that you only show up when it's election time. And last time I checked, we've held multiple events throughout the city for picking up trash, and that's through the Community Trash Warriors. Shout out to Miss Anna, can't pronounce her last name, for even putting this forth, the effort to clean up our city. And Mr. Lord, whatever you said for the truth. For one time, Ms. Dixon, I actually agree with what you said. You had Attorney Stevens come up here and talk about whether or not he said the entire city was corrupt. His entire conversation was about how he was a pastor and about God, his faith in God. All of us have some faith in some form of a God. But we didn't ask him for that. We asked whether or not you called the city corrupt. And as a typical lawyer, typical attorney, he shaded away from the truth. I applaud you guys for asking for the transcript so that the people can see. But what I did notice is when Ms. Wynn started talking about the fees of the city, of the attorney being here, she was shut down. You guys want to talk about transparency. You need to show that. We had to pay him to come to this meeting today. That's why he didn't wait. That's why he didn't stay here to the end. We had to pay him to be here. We have to pay him to be here next week. You want to be fiscally responsible? Be fiscally responsible and put this stuff to rest. Stop holding grudges, because that's exactly what it is. As much as you say it's not, stop holding grudges, saying that you want to do more research. No. If the city attorney and the insurance company is recommending for us to settle, why not settle? Why not settle? Because all it's going to do is it's going to increase the spending for our city. When it goes back to the judge, who knows what the judge is going to say? All these extra meetings, we got to pay Mr. Evans to be here, we got to pay the attorney to be here. As it relates to the pandemic pay, I don't think anybody had a problem with the job that Mr. Evans did during the pandemic. I think the problem was how much he was paid during the pandemic. There's a difference. The residents and the dais agreed to pay him a set amount, and that's what the residents who fought for him to come back here thought that he was going to receive. We did not think he was going to receive $500,000 to be the city manager of the city of Riviera Beach.
30 seconds.
If you want to see if you want to see the result, look at the W-2 forms, look at his salary during the pandemic. Everybody received it. If you're a salary employee, you are expected to respond 24 hours a day. Okay? So we need to have that understanding. All that other yelling and screaming and all that stuff about people not being here. If you're not a consistent voter, you shouldn't have to say anything in the city. Thank you. I'm Marvelous Washington. I am a candidate for District 3 City Council.
That's it. All right, very good. We are at the end of our agenda. We've had our public comment. We've had a special session that's set for Wednesday. Also, remember that at 6 o'clock that day, there's a utility district meeting as well. Discussions by the city manager.
I have nothing, Madam Chair.
Discussion by city attorney.
Nothing, Madam Chair.
We'll start with are there any committee reports? We will start with the mayor.
Nothing, Madam Chair.
Mr. Lawson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Wynn, can you give us some clarity? Ms. Wynn, can you give us some clarity on the $60,000 settlement? Because there was some perception that the additional fees were because of the settlement or that there was deadlines missed. But can you just give clarity on that $60,000 and then also the settlement of the $255,000?
The $60,000 is not a settlement. It was a jury verdict. That was the amount that the jury believed she should be compensated for.
And then the $255,000 was not because we missed the deadline, correct?
No, it was not.
And what that was actually negotiated by the attorneys, and that was the settled amount that was agreed from the insurance company?
That's correct. What happens is when there's a verdict, the court decides that the prevailing party, which in this instance, although it was just one count, she still prevailed on that count. Therefore, her attorneys are allowed to seek attorney's fees under the law. They alleged that their attorney's fees were $455,000, and Mr. Stevens was able to negotiate that down to $255,000.
Okay. So to that point, we'll have further discussion. But if we can have the Mr. Stevens fees for the meeting, the closed session, or even before that, if we just have an understanding as to what that current cost is and what the hourly is moving forward.
I requested them, and so we'll work hard to have them.
Awesome. Thank you, Attorney Nguyen.
Mr. McCoy?
Thank you. So can you clarify, are we just closed session on Wednesday in UD, or is there going to be a special city council?
My understanding is that it's just the closed session and then the utility district meeting.
Okay, all right.
Dr. Votel? Very good. Our meeting is adjourned.